Today we're going to be building a project from scratch. The example I'm going to use is a website. I recognize not everyone's building a website that's using Nifty. That said, it's just a way to show how we're going to use the functions of Nifty, and that can be changed into any type of workflow that you're engaging in. So before we start a project, I'm actually going to create a brand new portfolio for it. I'm going to call this one Web Projects. I'm going to choose who in my team I want to have join me. Okay, so we can see that these members are all part of the portfolio. That means when I create this new project and I leave it as public, they will all automatically be invited. So I'm going to call this one Website. And I'm going to set my default view to list view. Create the project. Okay. So when we join list view, we can see our task board is grouped by list. Lists fundamentally are buckets of tasks that have a commonality amongst one another. So in this case, I'm going to use lists to notate the different stages of our project. Now, your lists might not be stages, they might be more ongoing. So if it's content, you might have blogs, social media, so on. But I'm going to give more stage-based examples here. So first we'll have our kickoff, and we're going to have a kickoff call. We're going to gather requirements, create information architecture, and write copy. Next, we're going to have the design phase. That will say we have, I'm going to keep it pretty high level here, UX, UI, and we're going to get even simpler with development. We'll call it develop and launch. Okay. The idea here is to just outline kind of on a high level how we're going to go through our project from a phases standpoint, right? So we're going to come back to a screen, but I want to jump over to my Kanban board because this is a good way to see what are called statuses. Our Kanban board automatically groups by status. So statuses tell us where we are in the life cycle of a task. You can see by default we give you to do and completed. That might be all you need. You might want something in between, like in progress. This is a great way to note for others what you're working on, so that way they don't need to check in and ask you. You might have a review step. Review is someone on my team who needs to review something. It could be an internal review, it could be a client review if we're using that guest role. We might rename this to QA if we're doing engineering, or editing if we're doing more copywriting or something like that. But I'm going to keep it high level and just use review, and I'll review things. Okay, so now we can see the flow of a task. This is the journey each task will take. Let's go back to our list view because we can see these statuses right here. In fact, we can create new statuses here as well. But now we're getting kind of an intersection of our lists and our statuses, right? Okay, so I'm going to assign these to some people really quickly. I'm holding down Shift, by the way, to do these bulk assignments. Bulk these as well, and these are assigned to Melissa. And I'm also going to give out some dates really quickly. Now, this is probably a world speed record of how quickly a website has been designed and developed. I'm just using this to kind of illustrate a point of linearity in this project. Again, yours might not work that way, and that's okay. Okay, so we've got our lists, we've got our statuses, we've got our assignees and our due dates. And I can go ahead and customize this view further, rearrange columns, add them, change them, and so on. But I'm keeping this high level, just how we're constructing this project. So next thing I'm going to do is go to our roadmap, because our roadmap is where we're going to be able to see the phases of our project illustrated. And I'm going to turn on what's called auto mode. So what auto mode does is make it so when I graph a milestone, and we'll see more what a milestone does in a minute, but it allows me to change the dates of my milestone in accordance to my task deadlines. If we leave auto mode off, that means our tasks need to adhere to the milestone deadlines. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to take our kickoff list and I'm going to show it as a roadmap, or show it in the roadmap as a milestone. If I go here, I will see my milestone is graphed based on the array of start and end dates of the tasks within it. What auto mode means is I can drag this task out to here and the milestone deadline will change with it. If this were standard mode, manual mode, that would be a boundary. I wouldn't be able to drag that task back. So that's a great way to have like 2-week sprints, right? We're not going to extend the sprint. We're going to move that task to a different sprint. This is a hard and fast boundary that we cannot pass versus I just want to know what my realistic project deadlines are. So this is where I want to use auto mode. So all I need to do is manage my task deadlines and my milestone deadlines will follow. And I can do the same thing with here UX and UI, and development, design and development. So now we can see all these are on my roadmap, charted and easy to track. And so kind of the big picture here, why are we putting these on the roadmap? Well, we'll see when I start to complete these tasks, we're automating progress of our project's roadmap. So now we're seeing the big picture, right? This is great for projects that have a start and end point, or if you want to chart the process, the journey of any process you're working on. In fact, when we're finished with our milestones, we can pull them off our roadmap and just leave them in our task board as lists. So if we want to, we only need to chart active milestones and we can remove the ones that have already been completed. Now, before you start completing these tasks, if this is a workflow you engage in a lot, you can go ahead and save this as a template. So that way, the next time you create a project, you don't need to build this all from scratch. You can use your very own template to work off of a process that you know works.